Hello, film fans, and welcome to another A24 Vibe Discussion. This is Eric here, and today I will be talking to indie filmmakers Blaine and Blake Childress about the future of AI in film and their short film, Bongo the Elephant. Blake and Blaine recently co-wrote and co-directed a short film called Bongo the Elephant, which they have submitted to film festivals, and I wanted to talk to them because they said that in the process of making this film, they responsibly used artificial intelligence to curate an idea for a character designer that they worked with on the film. And yeah, so how's it going, y'all?
Going pretty good. How about yourself?
Yeah. Good. Yeah, so tell us a bit about yourselves. Where are you from and how did you get into film? Let's start there.
I'm Blaine Childress. I'm the older brother. This is Blake Childress. I'm the younger one. We're from Texas. I guess how we started in film, I guess all throughout our childhood, we've always been fascinated with films. Our father, who we dedicated the film to at the end of the film, always showed us his own favorite movies, trying to, I guess, have movies be a way of raising us. You know, try to teach us lessons that he himself didn't really know how to articulate. So he's like, here, put on this movie, learn the lesson so I don't have to.
Back to the Future will teach you all you need to know.
Yeah. So we kind of grew up with that. And also me and Blake always had a knack for telling stories, you know, whether it be when we're like at a family gathering and, you know, my parents would always want us to tell the same stories, even though like we say it 1,000 times. They're like, oh, it's good. It's good how you tell stories.
And I mean, as for like production, we slowly started to get into like YouTube. So
yeah, so we grew up in the YouTube popular era, like in the early 2010s when every young person had a YouTube channel and wanted to make content. And so we kind of, a lot of all those things sort of like culminated to like when we were like in our late teens, thinking like maybe we should get into film since that's really what we've been kind of brought up to doing. And
let's try and take this seriously.
And so we started from there when we were like teens, making little like movies by ourselves, little horror movies that like are on YouTube. And then we kind of like built up experience. And then with this film, we had an actual crew. We actually worked with actors that weren't just ourselves trying to hastily put something together. This was an actual full-scale crew film. And yeah, and we can't wait to see what the
It's been a journey all our life to get to the point.
Yeah, for sure. And
yeah, it's awesome when it comes together like that, you know. And yeah, so tell us a little bit about your latest short film, Bongo the Elephant. Maybe give a little elevator pitch to the audience. Why should they watch this? You know, give us the plot too.
So Bongo the Elephant is a tale about a man named Theodore Thompson who wants to provide a better life for his daughter, Sophie. He yearns to have enough money to where Sophie can live a comfortable life.
But it takes a 9-to-5 job to get like that. And he's desperately wanting an opportunity. And this day, he gets the opportunity to make it big. And on this day, he meets a sort of a King Lear type old fool type character by the name of Martin Ziegler, who was an animator in the 70s and founded his own animation studio and had a success making the titular show Bongo the Elephant, which was a cartoon that ran in the early 90s. All fictional, by the way. This is just some people have been tricked thinking like Bongo.
No, it was real. Yeah. I watched it and yeah, I didn't think it was real, but like in my head, I was just like, this totally could have been a thing back in the 1950s, a cartoon, not, you know, like even 50s or 60s. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the problem there is since he made the show in the 90s, kids didn't like it. It was too old school.
Yeah.
So it got canceled, and that led to Martin really burning out and pushing his family away. And then later he gets diagnosed with dementia, Yeah, now he
has in like a hospice care worker that lives with him,
and now he's sort of like in this trance where he's still thinking that Bongo's still on the air, but tragically nobody knows what this everybody has forgotten about it, except for Martin,
for sure.
And
it's really just about these two characters
coming together, meeting, and then going into the main story. Theodore tries to sell Martin because he's a door-to-door salesman, and he comes to Martin's door trying to sell something, and he notices that Martin really likes to play in the past, so to speak. And Theodore notices that, takes advantage of that, and tries to sell a solar panel to make the sale to get more money.
Dimension in a way almost becomes like a time machine for Martin.
Yeah.
Where he's talking to a different person. He's talking at a different period in his career.
Yeah, it was a very interesting character.
Yeah. And where'd you shoot this at? I'm guessing Texas, or?
Yeah, we shot it in Texas at our own house. This is
where we are.
This is Martin's house, and
wow. Yeah.
And a couple other places in our neighborhood, but that was about it.
Like technically, the most restrained thing was the locations, where it was all localized stuff that we had access to.
Exactly.
Cool. And now, so you didn't use artificial intelligence in the final cut of your film, but you used AI to give a designer an idea of what you wanted, right?
Yes.
So maybe give us a bit of insight behind your decision to do that.
So
this was like early in pre-production.
Yeah. This was about a year ago. We've been making this movie for quite a while. But yes, nothing that you see in the movie was created by AI. Everything was created by an artist or somebody.
And we know because like it took months, a lot of like people communication. There was just a lot of people that we had to deal with.
But at the start, we wanted to give our character designer, Bongo designer, Angel B, by the way, on Twitter. She's a really nice artist. If anybody's listening and needs a character artist, go look up Angel B on Twitter. We didn't want her to start completely in the dark, you know. We didn't want, you know, for her to figure it out or to come up with her own decision. And we utilize this new technology that we have.
I think specifically it was, I don't know if they've changed the name, but it was Microsoft's AI image generator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we just type in, you know,
cartoon elephant,
whatever we think the design should be. And then it spat out, you know, all the different types of designs. And then we gave them to Angel. And then we also told her the type of art style that we're going for, that very like 70s Hanna-Barbera-esque look, and to combine it with our own art style, like have all three of those combined to create, you know, what Bongo looks like now.
Yep.
But yeah, that's how we utilize AI, just to give our character designer something to go off of rather than just some words or just some descriptions, and just try to create something in the dark or try to make it a little bit easier.
Because I think the greatest thing about using it was we weren't really even sure what like the costume or like what he would wear, but like through these AI images, I mean the one that I sent in the email has this like red shorts, white shirt, and I was like finding these sort of color palettes through the images that were generated helped the process, and kind of we knew what we wanted before we had even gotten it through our concept artist.
Because, you know, I don't know if your next couple of questions is whatever our stances are when it comes to AI, but
I was going to ask that. You know, like, what are your thoughts on using AI in like the final product of films?
You know, it's tricky. It's a tricky subject. That's why it's so interesting. That's why I'm assuming you do this. You want to get in on this topic while it's still hot, because it is such a new hot button thing. You know, we are in college, or I just graduated from college actually, and we're taking classes, or we're starting classes where we're trying to teach people this new tool that we have. It's like when humans first invented cars. You know, what do we do? You know, we've been taught our whole lives to ride horses. now I gotta ride cars. Like, what are cars?
Yeah.
It's sort of like the same thing. We need to take it. We need to experiment it, figure it out, how we can utilize it. Me personally, I don't know about Blake, but I'm not completely against AI. Like everything, it's a tool. It's like paintbrushes. It's not. The artist isn't the thing. The artist is a person using the tool. It's not the artist. It's the tool that an artist use.
But at the end of the day, I guess what we've all kind of come to agree with is responsibly, how do you use it?
And yeah, that's why I think it's kind of tricky. I do think there are some things like, for example, the filmmakers that made
Late Night with the Devil. Yeah.
Late Night with the Devil. Like stuff like that, I don't agree with just putting blatant, obvious AI art in a movie.
So that's going to be kind of a thing with low budget productions from now on.
Especially when it is like a IFC studio type movie.
So I think that right now is working for low budget productions. But once you get to the point where bigger studios are using those things, like eventually at that point, I don't think you can like backpedal or anything, because that's most of what people are trying to do is backpedaling it.
Yeah, so like stuff like that, or like AI generated scripts. I'm not for.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about is, you referenced kind of like the creation of the car. We got new tools to use, but the thing is, like, it took a lot more people to make a car, and it, caused a whole revolution with new jobs everywhere, and it, ended up employing tons and tons of people. But like, as we progress in the film industry, as a fellow screenwriter, I'm a little bit worried about big production companies like Netflix maybe just using AI to create screenplays, and that'll leave people like us out of work,
Exactly. It's a total scare. Like we keep using the analogy of like cars being invented. It is something to think about. Is AI going to completely take over? Like the other day, the first ever AI movie, it's scary territory where we're at right now, because it could very well take over and we'd be all out of the jobs. All this time and experience will be going for nothing, essentially.
Because with all the strike business, you assume that people would learn, studios would know, but eventually someone's going to cross that line, and it ended up being this movie. And I'm sure that's why there's so much discussion about it.
Yeah.
How do we responsibly use this technology? Should we even use it? It's getting to the point where even associating something with AI is a bad thing.
Yeah, because I think Late Night with the Devil, the big controversy was like they could have just paid an artist to do those cutaway scenes and the graphics that they used AI for. And so, that's like one more artist that didn't, get paid for something because they used AI. And that's where I think it worries a lot of filmmakers and also artists that work in film, is that it might, leave a lot of people out of a job. But I do agree it's a tricky subject if you're an indie filmmaker, you don't have as much money as these big studios. So doing something like you did, where you just did it for the pre-production process to give an idea to an artist, I think that could be okay. I think that's responsible. Are you all worried too, though, that, well, even if like studios like IFC start doing it more, that could still take jobs away from other people? Are you worried about that at all, or?
Yeah, man, it
sets a precedent, right?
Yeah.
Like, if this is okay, then it's just going to get worse from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, man, I make movies. I don't have all the answers, obviously.
It's almost like we're discussing like a political topic or something.
I just know how to tell stories, man. But what I do know is there's a difference now when you see something that is AI made and something that is made by an actual person. No matter how far the technology has come or how advanced it is, there's still a difference. You can see something that is made by an AI, but oh yeah, that's not right, or there's no human emotion attached to it.
From a distance, it looks okay, or like on the surface. Once you the specific
becomes more hollow. Yeah.
Yeah, but and I still believe that however far we get to, I think there'll still be a clear difference between something that's made by a real human versus just, an algorithm. And we're going to have to see what comes of it. We're either going to have to see what new rules or new laws that are made to sanction this, obviously. And we need to figure out, what are we going to be okay with allowing, and what are things that we can't happen at all. And we're going to have to adapt, it's like with any technological revolution, we have to adapt with the circumstances and figure out how we can make the best product in whatever circumstances we find ourselves in.
Definitely.
As indie filmmakers aren't new to adapting. I think that's the whole thing, is figuring out like what are you not good at, and then making that the style that you do. Like what is the thing that you're lacking? Well, then let that be what sets you apart. And so indie filmmakers, I don't think are going to be stunted too much, because we've adapted so much to low resources that I think we can be able to adapt to this new rise in AI technology.
Unless we want to cut corners,
for sure.
The lazy ones that'll leave it in the final product.
Because I do think I do hope that there's some happy ending world where technology, AI, and humans can, exist together, and we can, instead of taking one out of the other, we can work together to create something that's bigger than the whole,
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely would like that to be the case. I definitely don't want it to.
But it's a complicated topic. We don't.
Yeah, definitely.
Since we're like at the cusp of it. We really don't know until because the technology is always evolving. There's never going to be like a final version of AI. There's never going to be the finished product. They're always going to be iterating, and like I said, like we're going to just have to come with the punches, come with the changes, and figure out how to stay in the ring. Unless it's like
2040 and they're like Marvel's making AI movies.
Yeah.
Then we'll all just be slaves.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like, so, this is an A24 based podcast, and one of the most famous A24 films of all time is Alex Garland's Ex Machina. And I would say Ex Machina is actually a big cautionary tale for the use of AI in tech. But like, it's more like saying, the second that these things become sentient, it can become possibly dangerous. What are your thoughts on like AI, and you can give me your most wild theory here, possibly becoming more sentient and dangerous for humans in general?
AI and stories have been around for so long.
2001: A Space Odyssey, going back then,
Metropolis.
Like the crazy thing is, at where it's at right now through these companies, it's technically in like a baby stage. Like they're trying to bring them up. Like I think the most recent thing was that like the voice based like Chat GPT, where it sounds like her, where you're like talking to a girl and that is the AI chat.
Yep.
Stuff like that is where eventually it's like
it's getting scary.
You're like, oh,
I love stories centered around the battle between humans and artificial intelligence. 2001 is my favorite movie of all time, and I'm definitely intrigued, especially I know there was a case, I know a YouTuber by the name of Nexpo covered it, but it's this like I don't even know what it is. It's like a image, sort of like, not virus, but like it's like a thing where like it creeps into like image creation, turns them all like creepy and like
like
morbid.
Like one prompt or like a negative.
Yeah.
It was negative prompting for image generation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm very curious like what the future of that's going to be like. Is there going to be like AI creepypastas.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Like that could creep in. Yeah.
It seems like something that I could say, yeah, it's a baby. Like, I'm sure if you try to, like...
It's like figuring out that, there's a vast, open space in front of you, and there could be anything out there. It's AI right now is just like space. We've only scratched the surface, and who knows what... Maybe 2050 we will... Who knows what stuff is deep in...
Yeah. I'm from Metro Detroit, and a big game about AI is called Detroit Become Human, and that's a really interesting thought. Is just them living amongst us, and then if they're sentient, they're going to want their own rights and everything, And will we be able to look at them as equals if that ever happens, And it's weird to think about. Yeah. Hey, this is A24 on the Rocks co-host Eric Kiska here. Are you into folklore and history? Well, I've decided to produce a new docuseries called Tales of the Great Lakes. If you aren't from around the Great Lakes area, not many people know of the stories and secrets that the Great Lakes behold. So I decided to create this YouTube series to shine a light on some of my favorite Great Lakes history and folklore. It'll include topics such as the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, the creation of Thousand Island dressing, debunking the Stonehenges at the bottom of the Great Lakes, and the haunting of the Fort Gratiot Lighthouse. Go to my YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/@FireLakeMedia to find the first episode, The Great Lakes Stonehenge Debunked. That's www.youtube.com/@FireLakeMedia. Tomorrow I will cover the tragedy that is the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Let's go back to Bongo the Elephant here. How'd the production process go? Talk a bit about what it took to make the film. I know you said you had a big cast of people too, and you actually hired actors and everything.
So, like it was stated, this was the first time that we did a full-scale production. Everything else before Bongo was essentially just me and Blake just coming up with something and making it in a couple days.
6 to 8 people max for a crew on those projects.
But we had a 15-person crew. In pre-production, I had the idea, and the idea essentially came from when I found out about a German painter by the name of William Untermullen, who is a German painter who was diagnosed with dementia, and part of his treatment was that he had to paint a self-portrait, and each year you saw the dementia get worse with each painting before he died. And the last painting is this ghostly, haunting image of a scribble face. And I just thought that change from the first painting to that is such a dramatic juxtaposition that I needed to get that into a film. I need that to be a film. And so I was thinking about it and wondering, what would be the artist with dementia today? And I thought it would probably be the guys that are animating old cartoons from the 70s. Yeah. Who are now very old. And that's when the thought came in, a cartoonist with dementia. I thought that is perfect because in my opinion, my favorite type of movies are the movies where you could laugh so hard and then cry even harder in the same movie. I find that impressive. And I wanted that and I thought that idea in and of itself is that. To mix such an earth-shattering disease and put that up against wacky cartoons. I just think I don't know. I love that combination. I wanted the whole film to basically encompass that motif of the funniest of fun mixed with the most tragic, sad thing ever. And
the idea mostly, like, it started with Blaine. We went through some rewrite process with our co-producer. He was the production designer, and he helped us with rewriting the script, Elijah Monks.
Throughout pre-production, we casted actors, wonderful cast. Martin, played by Dave McClain, Theodore, played by Jesse Parr, and Amato, who played Jeffrey. Amato de Hoyos. Such a great cast. We met them, casted them, and worked with them like several months before shooting, doing rehearsals, much like how we're doing now, through a video call, explaining the idea, explaining, how to do it, motivations and such.
Which, I mean, like, the crazy thing is that Blaine and I, when we were working on this, I kind of was like, Blaine, this is your idea. It all started with you. My real role ended up just being making it all a reality. Like, probably one of my favorite jobs working on this was we had to do a lot of, like, Facebook marketplace hunting. Most people go to, like, the thrift store to buy stuff, but
we did that too.
Yeah, we went there too, but we bought, like, rugs, we bought tables, we bought so much stuff. Like, some of the production design used was like a local company in Huntsville that just, like, lent it to us just because they didn't have a use for it.
Cool.
Like,
yeah.
It was the big thing that I know I specifically learned. I mean, I don't know about you, Blaine, but communication is key to every sort of film production. You have to be talking to so many people just to bring something up.
Yeah, and production design was a big thing. Art direction with our art director Abby German. She was basically like the actual artist of the film. She drew all the doodles in the movie. She drew all the sticky notes,
drawings of people and such.
Yeah, all the drawings came from her. And then then we also planned out all the animation sequences in pre-production, figured out what they were going to look like, because I knew I wanted the movie to start with the actual show intro. Like, I wanted that to be the thing, because I wanted this effect at, like, film festivals where people, like, look at their, like, pamphlets and they're like, Bongo the Elephant, and then it starts, and then I want people to think that it's like a goofy cartoon, but then it's like not. It's not a goofy cartoon at all.
That's kind of what I got. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready to watch like a cartoon, for 25 minutes here. Then it, went into real time, and I was live action, and I was just like, oh, okay, all right, now I get where we're going now. So yeah.
I love film projects, like stuff we've written and stuff we've made. It has this idea of, like, I don't even know if this is the right way of saying it, but tricking people. Like, the one before this, we made a film called Fish Out of Water. That whole thing was like, you think you're watching a YouTube video, and then it cuts to the real movie. Like, I don't know why that's something that we've
we really like playing with, like, reality and stuff like that. Then we got into production. We shot it.
3 days.
We shot it in 3 days.
3 days. Wow. Cool.
Everybody here
worked their asses off.
It was a really good experience. And then we got into post, which was probably the longest of all the stages, since we had we edited under a pseudonym, but me and Blake edited the movie. The co-writer and the production designer Elijah Monks did, like, the sound design, and then we did music by our composer Logan Sindel. A wonderful score.
It's just a lot of just communication, just getting people to do the things at the time, and
trying to get that idea that I had, the tragic mixed with the comic, through everybody. The cinematographer, Jack, I completely forgot about talking about Jack. Jack Freilich, the cinematographer, an amazing cinematographer, very talented, one of the best cinematographers I've ever known.
Without spoilers, but the ending specifically is very beautifully shot.
Yeah.
Very beautifully shot.
Agreed.
And then recently we just got done with posts, and now we're in the film festival circuit, and can't wait to see where it goes from here.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for other aspiring filmmakers who may be thinking about making a short film and submitting it to festivals?
Get walkie-talkies.
Okay.
That's a big one, because we had to basically scream at everybody through doors and windows because nobody had a damn walkie-talkie. But really, I mean, yeah, that is one. But in reality,
I guess since we've been talking about AI, let's just say with it, responsible use is always. It's almost like alcohol. Drink responsibly.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
I guess my big thing is just never, let anyone tell you that you can't do something, and tell the story that you want to tell. Yeah. Because there's so many points in Bongo where I wasn't sure if people were going to like it because of the drastic switch between tragic and comic. And I was also worried at the same time that people would think that, like, we're making fun of dementia in a way by having it mixed with, like, the comical elements, or that we're trying to make, like, light of it, which is questionable whether you should be making light of such a tragic thing.
I didn't think so. Yeah, I think, you handled it tenderly. Like, I felt bad for the guy, so, yeah. And as long I didn't... the specific parts of his dementia, I didn't laugh at that. I laughed at more at Theodore and the main character, and just kind of how he was. So yeah.
Yeah. We definitely worked really hard with striking the tone in the perfect places, but that was just mostly just me just worried about other people's perceptions. And my advice to filmmakers is never worry about what other people are going to think, or whether you think it's too weird. Don't ever be worried that it's too weird. Just make whatever you want to make, whatever idea that you have. Keep pushing on. There were so many times where I wanted to give up and just do something else because it was so hard.
And what I'd add to that is, with you saying, like, there were many times you wanted to give up. Like, the first draft that we had when we were having meetings about when we were going to do productions.
The worst thing ever written. The worst thing I've ever written.
The crazy thing that we learned, especially through this project, was...
I feel like a blind baby could, like, write a script and it'd be better than what I wrote. Like, it was terrible.
Well, like, what we've learned is that when
edits are key. Yep.
Yep. When you bring in people, like... you're never going to have what will be the film, like 100%. You have to, through your community and through your production crew, you will find the version of the film that you're going to get.
That's another thing. When you make your film and you have that first rough cut and you hate it, that's a good thing. Like, that's okay. Because when I first did the rough cut of Bongo, I was like, this sucks. And it literally put me in a bad, like, depression. I was like, we've worked so hard for this thing that just sucks. And I think every filmmaker needs to realize that that's going to happen. With every first rough cut, you are going to hate it, but that's okay, because that's not the final film. So many different elements are going to be thrown in there to basically, once you get to the final part, it's going to be completely unrecognizable. Because it's going to be so different. And so that's my biggest advice.
It's like, from the beginning, we didn't know like really what you want. You have, like, an idea in your head, but once you get to the final cut, through everybody's hard work, you learn what you really wanted all along.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think that's so key in writing, just rewriting, like, your first draft of your script, like, it's never going to be great. Like, I've never heard of many people who just write the first draft of their script and it's just like, that was the final version, and, it didn't need that many changes. No, rewriting is where it all comes in, and getting other people's opinions and making tweaks and going from there. That's just, like, so key in screenwriting. And
writers' rooms are key.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. Yeah. All right. And last question. Favorite A24 film from both of you? How about that?
Damn.
Or you could just give me like 2 or 3 if you want. Yeah.
Shit, we're gonna be here for like a couple hours.
If I had to give 2, in terms of, like, it's definitely a mix of, like, the theatrical experience you have. Yeah. But, like, when we watched Hereditary and when we watched Uncut Gems. Those were like magical experiences.
I was just going to say Hereditary and Uncut Gems.
Are you serious?
Well, okay, to say something different, to say a different horror movie and a different Safdie Brothers movie, I'm going to do The Witch and Good Time.
Yeah, we reviewed Good Time, and just watching that, because I saw Uncut Gems first, and then I went back and watched Good Time, and I might like Good Time even more. Actually, I really love that film. I'm a big Robert Pattinson fan though, but yeah,
it's very hard to choose between Uncut Gems and Good Time. They're both amazing movies.
Yeah,
and then The Witch is just like atmospheric as hell.
Yep.
And like it's so good. They know what they're doing over at A24.
For sure. All right. Well, thanks for talking to me. And so Bongo the Elephant, you're submitting it to film festivals right now. Is it eventually just going to be up on YouTube full time, or are you trying to like have a little limited release somewhere? Or
yeah, we're gonna see where it goes on the film festival circuit, and then see what happens there. And then after that, we're going to be posting it on YouTube, more than likely on Blake's YouTube channel, That One Filmmaker on YouTube.
Yep.
Go check that out whenever. It's not going to be anytime soon, but we have videos on there of other films that we made if you guys want to go watch that. But it would be on there eventually once we're done with the film festival circuit within like a year, where we're guessing.
For sure. And I'll link their YouTube in the episode description after I post this. So thanks for talking to me. It's been fun. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks.
A24 Vibe Discussion.